Chris Gunzz here with the trainer of the brand new WBC heavyweight champion, Bermane Stiverne, Don House. Don, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks for having me.
What a weekend it was. Congratulations. Tell me about it.
Man, it was a great weekend, but you know what? The funny thing is it hasn't kicked in yet. Maybe because I've already lived through it and I already saw him win the title from the first moment I met him.
Yeah.
So I think maybe this is just living through what I've been manifesting for 10 years.
Yeah, and you and Bermane spent 10 years together, and this was the culmination of a lot of hard work. Long time.
A lot of hard work and a lot of years.
How did it feel immediately? You said it didn't sink in.
It's sort of rare to find a fighter that stick with a coach that enough the time. Generally, they jump from trainer to trainer to trainer. I think when it happened, I sort of, I've been living it now for so long now. And now that it has happened, I guess it hasn't dawned on me yet. So I don't know how to feel right now. I mean, this is the first heavyweight world title I've ever earned with a fighter.
Yeah, 10 years ago, you guys hooked up. What'd you think of him when you first met him? Did you click right away?
Well, when I first met Bermane, I think I was training Joan Guzman and Zahir Rahim. They was in the ring sparring. Here's a kid come to the gym, 260 pounds, 70 pounds. For a week, he did nothing. He barely even spoke. And I had about a 900-pound heavy bag where kickboxers used. And one day I heard this crashing sound. And when I looked back, it was him hitting that heavy bag. I said, man, you can hit that hard. I can make you world champion. That's how it started.
And did you know immediately when did you really believe that, or did you just tell him that to give him a belief? Did you feel like he could be the heavyweight champion?
No, I knew he could be heavyweight champion. Bermane is he's an athlete, and in today's boxing, you need athletes. You can teach him everything else. I mean, he comes from football. He has a decent amateur background. But what he brought me was raw strength. So I taught him a lot of different things. Taught him how to box, basically.
Yeah, and it's funny when you mentioned that he didn't say a word when you first met him, really, for a while. When I hear him talk, he seems to be a man of a few words. You know him better than most people, though. Better than me, for sure. Did he ever talk about... I'm sorry.
No, for 2 years. For 2 years, when I come to the gym, I said, do this. He just nod or shake his head. And one day we had a fight in Florida. And I was at the table eating with him and his brother. And that was the longest conversation I ever heard him and his brother talk. And they spoke in Creole. I'm like, wait a minute. You speak Creole? I never had a clue. Of course, you're from Haiti. That was the longest conversation I ever heard him speak. Him and his brother were talking.
Yeah. Did he ever talk to you about what it would mean to him to become a champion, and not only for himself and his family, but for all of Haiti?
Well, I think they were kind of unwritten, unsaid. I mean, we sort of knew how special it would be to both of us. And like I said to him, and I work with a lot of world champions. Generally, sometimes they already have world titles, or there was 2 or 3 fights from a world title. And with him, what makes him so special is, one, he would be the first Haitian. He'd be the first guy that started from ground zero. He would be the first heavyweight. And he would be the belt that always eluded me was the WBC. So those were a lot of firsts for all of us. Yeah. And I said to him, coming from a country like Haiti, that would be way more special than any other country.
And because of that, this was his first championship fight. Was the pressure any different in coming from him leading up to this fight than it was for past fights?
Well, actually, there was more pressure when he fought Chris the first time out. There was a little bit more pressure there. I think we was way underdog, 5-1, I think. And actually, that fight winning the first one, we got more exhilaration out of that fight than this one. I mean, I think we was more upset that we had to fight him again for a title that should have been given to us. So we was a little bitter, but you know what? In boxing, you got to do what you got to do. So we stayed focused, and we took care of the job.
And they did fight before, and it was a pretty much one-sided 12-round unanimous decision for Bermane, and
exactly.
he knocked him down in the third round of the fight. It was 13 months ago, and they Team Areola chalked it up to not such a good training camp and didn't train seriously. That was the excuse. Did you buy that, and did you expect anything different for the second fight?
Well, one thing about Areola is this. I've been on Areola way before Bermane. And one thing about Areola is he's a tough guy. No matter if he trained or not, he's going to give you what Areola has within him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to be in your face.
Yeah.
And I knew that. And I said, Bermane, this is going to be an easy fight for you because, one, you didn't have to fight him. I said, what's going to make the second fight different is he's going to be in your face even more. But he's not going to last long because he decided, you know what, I need to take my boxing career seriously. You can't do that at this level. Taking your boxing career seriously, start at the amateur ranks. It doesn't start at when you're going to fight for a world title.
Mm.
So I said, this fight going to be easier than the first because, one, he's going to come at you like Madonna came at Mayweather. I said, the difference is you can hit and Mayweather can't.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of high-profile people in the business, writers, reporters, and journalists, they were really impressed weeks leading up to the fight with every time they saw Chris, and a lot of them predicted that he would turn the table on Bermane in this fight. Did you think that the excuse going into the first fight might have held more weight when you saw Chris before this fight? And what did you think Chris's appearance looked like to you? Was there any concern when you saw him?
No, if I was Chris the trainer, I would have never lost the weight. Forget trying to prove to the world I can lose weight. This is not a weight contest. This is the heavyweight division. I would have stayed about 245. Chris he's not a fast puncher anyway, so what difference does it make? I would try to keep my power. When you got a puncher such as Bermane Stiverne, you want to make sure you got a lot of power and you got some body to take those shots. So we go to the body a lot. I knew Chris was going to be in better shape. He's going to be focused more, and this was do or die for him. But I'll tell you one thing. If Chris Areola fought anybody in the heavyweight division outside of Bermane, trust me, he would have beat them all. He's a very tough character. I mean, I respect him. He's tough. But it didn't come down to shape in his fight. It came down to skill. Chris just did not have the skill set that Bermane had. Bermane has fast hands. He can punch in both hands. He has movement, has speed. He can move his head. He can take some shots, and he can give shots back.
Yeah. And a lot was made out of Chris coming in 10 pounds lighter than the first fight. Not much was made out of Bermane also coming in at 10 pounds lighter. Was that a conscious choice also? Were you not as pleased with Bermane's conditioning in the first fight as you could have been?
Well, I didn't have total control of that. I allowed someone else to come in, and I blamed myself for that because, you get all these gurus, and I can do this for you, I can do that for you. So I stepped back and I allowed him to do it, and I didn't like the weight. In this training camp, I got him down to about 231. And I said, B, I don't really like that weight. You're not as strong at 231. We need to go back up a little bit. I mean, he weighed in at 236, 238. That's fine with me. This is the heavyweight division. And so we weighed in 239. He felt strong. That was fine. I mean, we went down to 231. It made him kind of weak. So you're not used to that weight. Let's go back up. The first fight, he was winded a little bit. This one, he felt good. I kept my eye on the whole training, and that's what I prefer to do anyway. But the last camp, I allowed another guru to come in and get his head and say, I can do this for you. And it's my fault as the head coach to allow that to happen. But this time, I took the reins, and I made sure that he did all the work that he needed to do.
Yeah. And Bermane showed in the first round the ability to hurt Chris again. And he clearly wobbled Chris at the end of the first round. So it was a good start to the fight. But in the second, Chris's better condition and seemed to show its head. And Chris knew that his back was against the wall, like you said, in this fight, and he definitely looked like he trained harder. He came out looking more focused in the second round, and he seemed to win it. In the third round, it was a lot of Bermane laying on the ropes and Areola taking advantage of it. And you told Bermane to stay off the ropes. Is that one of the flaws that you have to stay on him for? Does he tend to fall into lapses of inactivity and allow his opponents to out-hustle him and outwork him?
And that's one of the issues that I had with him. The first fight, we laid on the ropes, and we sort of brought Chris toward us. But Chris one did his homework and said, yeah, this guy liked it on the ropes. But the first fight, I think Bermane was beating him to the punch. This time, Chris was actually beating Bermane to the punch. I mean, we was winning 2 battles. It was those body shots, but Chris was actually very, very busy. Caught Bermane with a few shots. I mean, from the second round, he did okay. The third round, he demolished Bermane. The fourth round, we sort of picking up just a little bit. The fifth and sixth, we turned around. But I wasn't afraid of Chris's power. The body shot hurt Bermane. Got one good body shot in. That sort of got his attention. We really wasn't concerned about his power because, one, he lost the weight. He's actually doing something to his body he wasn't used to doing. So I knew he wasn't going to be as strong as he could have been if he just if he just trained normal. You know what I mean? Stay Chris. Don't change Chris because, one, you're not used to the change. And I knew that was going to happen. And if we'd have got him in the 8th or 9th round, we was going to knock him out anyway because you can't get to this level and decide, I want to change everything. Maybe 10 fights ago, yes, but not one. No.
Yeah. And at the point in the fight that you did tell Bermane to stay off the ropes, how were you feeling at that point? Clearly it wasn't going the way that you wanted it to go. How do you feel inside when you're seeing that?
Yeah, well, I watched him out there. I said, look, this is crazy. I mean, you spend too much time on the ropes. You need to come off the ropes. And then he smiled and said, listen, I got him. Don't even worry about that. Now, generally, Bermane don't talk back to me. Generally, he just nod and go, okay. At that moment, that's when I said, you know what? Let me enjoy this fight. Because when he said to me, don't worry, that means to me, he's not hurt. I got this. Okay, I'm going to get off the ropes and go to work. No, because at this fight, I really believe that if Chris would have made it to the 12th round, we was going to lose the fight.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. Regardless of what Bermane did or not, I think so many people wanted Chris Earl to win this fight. So many wanted him to win that I think if he would have stood up after the 12th round, would have lost.
Yeah. Any frustrations that you had, though, were laid to rest in the 6th round. I was actually talking to my buddy next to me about Chris probably becoming the first Mexican-American heavyweight champion. I'm guilty of counting my chickens down. How happy were you when you saw that looping right hand hurt Chris? How excited did you get?
Oh man, I mean, I was getting more. I was excited going into the 5th. The 5th round was okay. I thought, okay, he's gonna get him now. Bermane's picking up. Bermane's a slow start anyway. He's gonna get him. His brother was behind me. I said, he's gonna get him. He's gonna get him. He's gonna get him. And when that looping right hand came, it's over. Mm-hmm. That shot is hard to recover from. Yeah. That shot just knocked you. When I saw that shot, I said, this game is over. That was it. I mean, the inspectors held me back. You can't go in the ring. I said, come on, man, the fight's over.
How could you not go in the ring? You're the trainer.
They wanted to take the stool up, and I said, listen, the doctor's on the other side. They can take care of that. Let me go congratulate my fighter.
To me, it didn't even seem like Chris was hurt in the first knockdown. He was more hurt than he looked, I thought. But the second knockdown, he got up like he was clearly hurt and drunken almost. I mean, he looked, he was a mess.
The first one, he was discombobulated. He was trying to clear his head, but unfortunately, when Bermane jumped on him the second time, then he really hurt him.
Nah.
It should have been over with then, but they gave another chance, and man, you don't want to give a beast a chance when that adrenaline goes up, man. This guy can get hurt. So I'm kind of glad the referee did step in, because Chris would have kept fighting.
Yeah.
Chris is not a quitter. He'd have kept fighting.
Yep, and he did get up, and referee Jack Reese allowed the fight to continue, and my mom didn't like that. She thought the fight should have been stopped right away, but he did let the fight continue. But he did jump in as soon as it clearly Chris didn't have the mind to hold on to Bermane.
Right.
So
but also, on the Jack Reese's defense, this is for a world title.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I've seen guys in Chris's condition throw a punch from somewhere, and it changes the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, Diego Corrales and the Castillo, come on, it was a great fight. All of a sudden, it changed.
Yep.
So this is for a world title. So and I think Jack did a pretty decent job. He slowed the countdown a lot. Don't get me wrong on
that one. Yeah. But 10 years together, the fight didn't seem like it was going your way, and suddenly, in the blink of an eye, it happened. Clearly, Bermane was overjoyed. He fell to the floor. What goes through your mind when you see this? He has to be like a son to you. You spend a lot of time together. What goes through your mind when the moment happens?
Man, I still don't know what went through my mind. I'm just, I'm dumbfounded. I'm like, people ask me all the time, so how do you feel? I don't know yet. And I understand how big this is and how big the title is and the history in the making and bringing the title back to North America. I mean, I've been saying this to myself for years and years and years, and we can do this, we can do this, and we can do this. And then all of a sudden we did it, and I don't know, I was expecting something, I don't know, fireworks or something, and the fireworks did not show up. And it's like, okay, it's great, we want to fight. And I guess it just feels like we want a big fight. But I haven't sunk in. I don't know if it's ever going to sink in. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, when we go by the gyms, stop by people, congratulate us, and I mean, that's a little different now. And, I've been with UFC 14 years, so all the UFC people, hey, I'm doing a great job, and that's different, but, I don't know. I mean, it's exciting. I think it's great to do those wonderful things, but I don't feel it.
Yeah, and he did get up off the floor, and he came over and he embraced you, and the team got together. What did he say to you? What did Bermane say when he got up?
Did it. I think he said, we did it. We did it. I'm the champion.
And Chris showed class trying to congratulate Bermane. The moment the fight was stopped, I was surprised to actually see him having the mind state to walk over there. And
actually, he walked over pretty clean.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my sister-in-law, she was changing a diaper on her baby. When she looked back at the TV, she saw him laying on the ground, and Chris standing over him. She said, oh, my God, he knocked Bermane out.
Yeah, he looked like the winner for a second.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, no, he got knocked out. He's on the ground, and Chris is standing over him. Yeah.
So when Bermane and Team Stiverne finished their embrace, he did go over and he embraced Chris, and the cameras couldn't pick up, the microphones couldn't pick up what was being said. What did he say to Chris? I heard him say something about, I promise you.
He was saying to Chris, hey, man, this wasn't personal, apologizing for all the crap that went on pre-fight. If you need anything, man, I'm here for you. You're the baddest guy on the planet. That type of thing, man. Don't quit. Don't quit. You still can beat 90% of these guys out here. That type of thing.
Mm-hmm. And how was it in the dressing room? You go in the back and you have a private moment, and you're away from all the cameras and everything. What was it like back there?
Yeah, we just sat and talked. We didn't even talk. I think we looked at each other for about maybe about 5 or 6 minutes and go, damn, we did it. So yeah, 10 years. Mm-hmm. We did it. And you got the green belt, biggest belt in boxing, and the heavyweight belt.
And
we did it.
I was real happy for the whole island of Haiti. It surprises me when I think about it's been 4 years since the earthquake. What was Bermane like when that happened? Do you remember?
Yeah, like most people, disappointed. I think he lost some friends and families in that ordeal. Kind of bothered him. I think it bothered him more that there was a lot more relief than it should have been. But and I said, look, man, just stay focused. I mean, you're on a mission yourself, right? And you fight for that country to put it on the map, get people to know who they are, and the heavyweight division will bring them to notice. Now you're there. You're there.
He's got to be probably the most famous guy in Haiti right now. Does he know that?
Yes, I think he has. I think he got tweets from Wycliffe, the president, Perez. So
it's amazing.
They all contacted him.
Does he want to do anything for Haiti? Has he talked about when he's going to go there and bring his belt? And are you going to go with him?
Yeah, we are. He just mentioned that about an hour ago. I was just with him. And we're going to do some stops from Haiti, England. I think Dubai was on the list. He named a few countries. We're just going to go by and just take the belt and take pictures and do some PR work. But Haiti is on that roster.
Yeah. And if he can keep winning and defending his titles, and has he talked about anything that he can and wants to do if he has the opportunity to do it? Is there any plans?
Oh, you mean which fight or which anything you'd like to do or
what he'd like to do for the country? Maybe do anything. I mean, there's so much that needs to be done.
We haven't sat down and talked anything about anything like that, but right now it's just been him enjoying winning this thing, and we're gonna pick up maybe some PR people, find out what he want to do, because it's always about bringing some money to a country, so that always helps out. Yeah. We've always talked about that years and years ago. Anyway, how we flood money down and help some of the families. I know you can't cure everything, but some things.
Yeah, and the fight was on ESPN, and it was announced that it was the highest rated boxing show in a real long time. How important is that boxing was back on a regular cable channel? And
man, it was funny. I was talking to my wife. I said, what's funny is we have never fought on ESPN. Because ESPN is where you go and you build your fighters. That's where you get your name. That's where people get to know who you are. Yep. And Bermane has never fought on ESPN. I said, it's kind of strange. We never fought there. Then I found out later Don King had a problem with ESPN. I'm like, okay, great. And a week later, we get the phone call. Hey, we're fighting on ESPN. I'm like, wait a minute. ESPN has millions and millions of viewers. This could be interesting. It wasn't even about the money. It was about him being shown all over the world. I mean, I've had calls from New Zealand, the Ukraine, France, Dubai. They all saw the fight.
Yeah.
I'm going, great, he got coverage.
It's incredible. And do you think that ESPN should continue? Of course you would think it should, but do you think it will continue putting on big fights?
Well, I really hope that they should continue. The question is, I know they have the funds. I know they have the funds that can match HBO Showtime, because there's something wrong with people watching a free fight. I think if you can pay the fighters handsomely and they can still show them for free, I mean, there's something wrong with people trying to make their money. But this payday was okay for a title fight. They didn't put up the HBO Showtime money, but at this particular juncture, I wasn't concerned about the money. I want him to be seen. I want him to win the world title.
Yeah, and this was for the WBC Heavyweight Championship, and your man is the new champ. It was for a title vacated by Vitaly Klitschko. How do you think a fight between Bermane and Vitaly would have turned out had that fight happened?
Well, one thing about fighting guys like Klitschko, the brothers both, and you can throw Wilder in there too, Wilder. Mm-hmm. They one-dimensional fighters. Those guys are 6'4", 6'5", and taller. They one-dimensional and very predictable. I think if one thing Bermane cannot do with those three guys that I just named is he can't lay on the ropes. Those guys are good right-hand punchers.
No.
I think if he moved and attack, he shouldn't have no problem with those guys. I mean, with his body shot ability and moving his head, his overhand rights, his hooks, he shouldn't have no problem. But he has to be the aggressor.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I do see advantages that he has. I hope that when he does fight those big guys, though, that he keeps his hand higher. I think that it's a danger for.
Well, here's the thing. The thing about it, styles make fights.
Yeah.
And when you got somebody that can't do certain things to you, you fight them based on what their abilities are. And that's what we do. And that's what fighters does. If he's getting cracked, he's gonna put the hand out. But if he can get away with certain things. All the athletes that get away with certain things, they put their hand. Look at Roy Jones, even Mayweather himself. Those guys can get away with murder, but they know what they have in front of them.
Mm-hmm. No.
Now, if you got somebody that's cracking, that hand better be up and that head better be moving.
Yeah, this is the first time in a long time that one of the belts weren't being held by someone named Klitschko. All the other belts, of course, are still being held by Vladimir, but it's an exciting win, and it makes for so many possibilities that are already being drawn up by people with really no pull. The options seem to be, though, fighting Deontay, like you mentioned, and Vladimir wants to pick up that belt that Vitaly let go of and bring it back to the Klitschko family. But Don King wants to take the new champion and do something else at the moment. He doesn't want to have him fight. Maybe he doesn't want to put him in another big fight. Maybe he wants to get a couple of defenses in. I don't know what his plans are yet, but what would you like to see happen next?
Well, I would like to, don't get me wrong. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about trying to make some money. But I would love to see him go for Deontay Wilder or Vladimir. Why not? That's what the fans want to see. One thing about us, I was in a barbershop today, and the guy said, "Wow, man, your fight did a great job." And he said, "Wow, you might have to fight Wilder. Wilder's 31-0 with 31 knockouts." I said, "That's fine, but let me paint you a little picture." I said, Bermane is 24, 25, and 1, and he is. We take chances. We fight people. We had no choice. I don't want to start dodging people right now because I really believe and truly believe I got the best heavyweight on the planet right now, and I'm not. There's no one out there that I'm afraid of Bermane to fight. No one. He has the speed. He has the power. He has the ability. He's very athletic. He has power in both hands, and he can move and he can punch.
Yeah. And
most of those guys out there, you have Vladimir. Vladimir's on his way out anyway. Hey, why not? If I take the chance to bring all the belts home, if I lose, there's a rematch clause. He can make a bunch of dollars before he get out the game. Wilder is too young. Hasn't been tested. I've been watching his tapes. They've been giving me a call about the gym. He's getting clipped on the chin. He's falling down. He doesn't have the leg for the game. Yeah. So then we got Tyson Fury. Great fight for Berman. That's a perfect fight for Berman. Then we got Emmanuel Charr. We go all over. Perfect fights for Berman out there. Lots of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was actually going to ask you what you thought about the other guys in the division, and I was going to ask you about Deontay Wilder. But so you think he's too green still for Berman?
Deontay's very green, man. He ain't been tested out there, man. When as one commentator said, his career has been strategically choreographed. I mean, we understand how the game works. I mean, it's one thing to build your fighter up, but 31 fights, Deontay, for real, you really want to get in there with Berman? I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course you're out there in Vegas, and that's where you and Berman trained for the fight. I keep up with him on Facebook, and I see that he brought the title back to the Mayweather gym and got a lot of props from everybody. What was it like for you? You and Roger grew up together. What was it like?
Yeah, Roger. And it's funny because you're right. I grew up around. Anything you seen was around, and I tried myself to become that. But unfortunately, through the military, I suffered through 7 knee surgeries. I had an explosion, a military vehicle accident, and I couldn't continue. But from the knowledge of the years I fought and growing up through the Mayweather era, things I've learned, I've actually transposed those to Berman, and here's my results.
Yeah, it's great. I'm glad to see good things happen to good people. I'm really happy for you, and I'm happy for Berman and all of Haiti and his family. I'm really happy, and congratulations, Don. I appreciate your taking the time with me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.